9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. Liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Roger, Tower.
Welcome to the Alien Pro Podcast. It's Saturday, August 12th, 2025. I'm Doug. This is Roy Brewer, author of Crusaders Down Under. My dog Chance will be sitting here joining us as well, but more importantly, we got Roy, and I keep calling him Ray, but it's Roy. Crusaders Down Under, and I'd really welcome, and I'd like to hear about, how did you tell us about the journey of how you got to writing this book.
Well, Doug, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. It's a real pleasure to be here. I and my wife and her sister and brother-in-law invited us down to Sydney on one of our many trips to Australia. It's where my wife was from. And it was in 2005. And we left Sydney on an early morning, and we drove all the way up to the northeast part of Australia, across to Darwin, and picked up the Stewart Highway, which is the 2-lane road from Darwin on the north to Adelaide on the south. It's about 2,500 to 3,000 miles as the crow flies, 2 lanes. And you have to learn a few things like top off your gas tank every time you have a chance, because the little villages or birds are pretty much, as you can imagine. And it is the center of Australia. They call it the outback, or never. But anyway, to get to your point, this trip we planned, and we spent 6 weeks out there driving through the outback. We drove 8,000 miles. That only constituted half of what you could drive.
Wow.
So it's as big as the U.S. I don't know, a lot of people may not realize that. It's kind of like if somebody says you're going to the States, if they were down there and say, I'm going to America. Where are you going? Well, I'm going to San Francisco, Disneyland, New York, Miami. I said, how long are you going to be gone? I said, 10 days. You're going to be in the air. You're going to be in the air the whole time, Fred. So, it's just misconceptions and whatever. And some of the people that I've talked to here, obviously I'm from America, and you ask them if they ever been to Australia or anything about that. And they say things like, oh my God, they got huge spiders, and like this and that. And I said, well, they have some, and they're not as big as our tarantulas, but I said, it's kind of like when you were growing up and you had this image of America, and you had this idea that buffalo were walking up and down the street in Sacramento. So it's the same sort of concept. But anyway, I kept a daily journal on this trip. And we were out there for 6 weeks, and I still have the journal at home. Every day I wrote down where we went, the people we talked to, their names, the geography, the restaurant, everything that we saw that day I put in this journal. And we got back from this trip after 6 weeks, and I put it in my credenza next to my bed. And it was 2 or 3 years later, at least, I picked that thing up and I started reading about it, and it was absolutely amazing. It got me hooked on keeping a daily journal, because you just think you can remember all that stuff. And so all of a sudden, and I was busy lobbying, and my wife was, she worked for United Airlines, and I remember distinctly, she was a lot smarter than me. We're walking down the bike trail I did on the American River, and I'd regale her with all the junk I went through lobbying and all the this and that. And she was so nice and polite. I'll never forget this. She'd listen patiently. And I told her one day, I said, Wink, I said, I really have this yearning to write, And she just thought for a minute, and she said, you can't write until you read. Yeah. It was her way of saying to me, if you read more, then you could tell me something that's more interesting than all that stuff you find out down at the Capitol.
Yeah.
So I kind of got hooked on it. And so I wrote the first by just longhand, the first chapter in there, and I put that away. And about 2 years after that, I got it out and I read it to my wife. And she was an English teacher and French teacher and all that. And I read it to her and she said, that's very good. I said, I know we're married and you make me feel good, but what do you really? She says, no, I think it's worthy. So it got me hooked. And so I started putting stuff together and writing it and this and that. I wrote it longhand. Then I was smart enough to get an editor, because you got to have all the T's crossed, and because you know how people are. If they are reading a book, and I'm the same, and you see something that's an error and it's your negative coming out, you kind of close up the book, and So
Right.
you got to get an editor to put out the best product you can.
I always thought I would write about the UFO, what I've learned about the UFO.
There you go.
Well, how do you do? So what is, you write it and you put it in as best you can.
Well, the best, it's you.
Yeah.
And nobody can tell a story that's your story like
Right.
you do. That's why there's so many authors. Everybody has a good story. And I've come to the conclusion, maybe I'm wrong, but to me, writing, if you can tell a good story, whether in the bar or wherever you're at, and you can tell a good story without screwing it up too bad, and you can tell it smoothly and keep the audience entertained or whatever, if you can do that verbally, then what stops you from just putting it
Right.
to write it? So that was my motivation. I kind of talked myself into probably being better than I thought I was. But you got to do that, because it's hard work. And it took me about 2 years.
So you just typed it up?
I didn't type it.
Did
No,
you use handwritten?
Handwritten in these, I think the dollar store.
Yeah.
You can buy those tablets, 100-page lined tablets.
Right.
For
Right.
like $1.25. So that's what I wrote them in. And then I got a typist, and she worked, fortunately for me, with a great editor. And so I had them typed up, and I met the editor, and we hit it off, and I sent them over to her, and she did her little number on them. And like she told me, she said, Roy, you're giving me a nicely shaped Christmas tree, and my job is to put ornaments on it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. And so we got that. The second one I've already scratched out enough for the meat. And so this is written as a series. In other words, each chapter of it is a total story. It's kind of an airplane book.
Right.
You can read a chapter. It's about 25, 30 pages, and then have a cocktail, take a snooze, and then read another chapter. And it just goes on and on with the protagonist and so forth. And it's just great stories. It's just all in Australia.
What year did you start writing it? I mean, start taking notes?
Well, in 2005 is when
Yeah.
I took, that got me jump-started doing the daily journal. And then I started putting stories around all those places like Alice Springs and all the
Yeah.
places we visited throughout Australia. So when you get into the book, you find that the description of where we were and where these characters were and what happened is pretty in-depth. So it's almost like taking a cheap trip to Australia, because it's a 14.5-hour plane ride from San Francisco, and all the cost of doing that, and then this, stay in a hotel. And I tease people that I talk into buying the book. I said, you know what? Would you like to go to Australia? And they said, well, yeah, but it's so far. I said, well, how would you like to go there for like $15? So just buy the book. And
Yeah.
it'll take you there. And then if you ever do go, you'll be the smartest person on the tour, because this baby will educate you.
Is it about the animals, or is
Yes.
it? Okay.
Yes, but not always.
Right.
It's about the animals, because the vet, he was born and raised in California. It's fiction, you understand. Michael O'Flynn's his name. And he went to vet school and all that, and he majored in exotic animals. So where do they have the most exotic animals?
Yeah, they have a lot of it.
Australia.
Yeah.
So he moved there to Alice Springs. He's got a job. He started treating all these animals. And then what happened, relative to what's in the book, is his girlfriend happened to be a doctor, and she flew for the Flying Doctors, and that's a real deal in Australia.
Right. Yeah.
They fly around to all these stations way out in the middle of nowhere, and give them medical help, because you can't just go to the doctor,
Right.
So the doctor comes to you. And there's a funny story in there about that. And in fact, it's in the museum in Alice Springs because the Flying Doctor started in 1926 by a doctor. And they had a chart, and it was the physiology of a human being, and they numbered all the different parts of your body. And they'd give it to these people who owned the sheep stations and the cattle stations and all that, had all their body numbered. And then they'd give you a box that all pigeonholed, and in that would be 1 through how many. And they put different medications in each one. So on the telegraph, or however they communicated those days, telephone or whatever, you'd if you're the patient, you'd say, "Oh, I got a pain right here." Well, that's number 4, okay? And so the doctor would listen and this and that, and then he'd prescribe something. So the story goes that he found out what it was, and he prescribed a number 9 for this patient. So the next day he called him, and he says, "How's your wife?" It was his wife that was ailing. "Oh, God, Mary's great. She's out there milking the cows. Everything's great." But he said, "Let me tell you something, Doc." He said, "I don't know, but he said, you said to give her a 9, and I didn't have any 9, so I gave her a 5 and a 4. So, they got a great sense of humor. But anyway, long story short, that's how I got hooked on writing. And I love it. I tell you, once you do that, it's like a confession, kind of. You just sort of, it's euphoric.
Yeah, I just didn't know what the process was, because I said I can put all this together in very similar. Most of mine would be the UFO, obviously.
Yeah.
Not really some stories, but a lot of what the history of is as it evolves to today, about who's seen what. Roswell, of course we all know about Roswell, and there was things that happened eons before that, but that was kind of the starting point.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of different stories about that, and I put in there what I think it is, based on, and then the different stories and the different happenings all the way through today. But to your book, so you were in the Navy, so 4 years in the Navy?
Yeah, 4 years.
What was your job?
I was communications, radar, navigation, and all that kind of stuff. And by chance, I've been 4 years in there. I got to see most of the South Pacific. And by chance, in 1962, because I got out in January of '64, our ship, I was on a tanker at that time. They're the ships that ride low in the water.
Right.
From the keel to the freeboard is like 40 feet, and was filled with jet propellant and oil and diesel, everything the other ships needed. And we would rendezvous with them out in the ocean, way out in the ocean, and pump them full of whatever they needed. That was our job.
Yeah, I saw In Harm's Way with John Wayne.
Yeah.
And there was a tanker. He goes, "Riding high." Kirk Douglas says, "Riding high, it's empty."
That's exactly. The nice part of that, when you're full, you're like a iceberg.
Right.
And that's great, because I was in 5 typhoons in my time in the Navy.
Wow.
And if you want to have all the sphincters tighten up, it's amazing how we're built, because the first time you get so scared, but you're afraid to admit it.
Yeah.
Because you're panicky. I mean, everything's gray, including you.
Right.
And the deck, and the water, and the sky, and everything. And the world's closing in on you, and you're going like this, literally. And the props on the ship would come right out of the water. That's how many they'd go up and down these troughs. And this would last for days. Oh. And when you ate, you had to hang on. So anyway.
How did you?
You know what?
You have to tie yourself into bed?
Well, lucky for me, I had a bunk on the bottom, and we had steam pipes. They were coated, of course.
Right.
Right by my rack. So I go to bed and just lock my arm around the steam pipe, so I didn't get thrown out.
You didn't roll out of the rack.
But but mentally, what happens is that once you know you're going to live, then you get you challenge Mother Nature. Is this all you got? In other words, you build up your bravado.
Yeah.
So you can stand it. But it's just it's something you went through. But then I have friends when I became a civilian. My friends never been in the military or out in the big water.
Right.
They would say, "God, I want to get a little sailboat and sail to Hawaii."
No. Oh, hell no.
Hey, Mother Nature won't forgive your mistakes.
No.
They won't.
That's why I don't do a lot of swimming in the ocean, because
No.
we're not the top of the food chain.
Well, I tell you what, Doug, it's not the water that gets you. It's what's living in the water.
Yeah,
Gets you,
exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and if a big shark's coming at you, or
Yeah.
whatever, they're hungry.
I remember one time I was scuba diving in Monterey. We were scuba diving at night, and there's a lot of kelp in there. And so I brushed, we had a light, you had handheld light. And I brushed the kelp out of the way, and all I saw was these two glowing eyes, and you could just see. I remember seeing it. I just blew out, like I was in a bag, whoa, blew out the air, and it's not very deep there. It was only like 40 feet deep in that area, and I just swam back. I had my buddy with me, and we just were going where I go.
That was it.
I go, we're out of here, and he's like, he didn't see it.
Yeah.
And he goes, man, you're swimming pretty fast. I go, yeah, I don't know what that was, but
That's funny you bring that up, because in that, there's 8 chapters in that book, and it will be 8 in the next one, but one of the chapters in there is about scuba diving and the Great Barrier Reef to get to an island. And
there's some big sharks in there.
Oh, the great white,
Yeah,
I mean.
the greatest white. Yeah,
the
they're
greatest white. Yeah, it's, yeah. But we spent a lot of time, we had a little brain thing on coming up with that title. And personally, we went through about a list about 20 different names. And myself and my editor and the lady that types it, we eliminate, finally came up with that title. But I like that title, Crusaders Down Under. And if you look at that title of that book closely, I thought it was very subtle. The down, you see it goes down behind
down.
it there.
Oh.
And Michael is the protagonist, the hero, the vet, and his job is not only to treat these animals medically, but also when poachers and stuff,
Right.
when they do bad things to the animal, well, they ally with that animal, and then they put their little group together, and they track down the bad guys and slap them around a little bit.
Oh, no way.
So that's him right there with a gun. And if you look right here on the top of this hill, there's a house, and there's a little guy there with a gun, and he's pointed at the animal. So it's kind of a subtle kind of a,
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
yeah.
That's crazy. So it isn't just animals, it's just a story. But is it fiction, or is it?
Well, it's fiction, but it's real animals,
Right.
and it's real places.
Right.
And I just put the two together. Yeah. So it is. It's fiction,
So you grew up in Davis.
Yeah. Not my fault.
What year? I don't want to say it's not my favorite place, but
Well, it's not mine.
yeah, it's we used to call. I was with we used to deliver furniture in there, and I remember there was I was the general manager, but my guys that deliver in there, and they had this little person that was a cop, and he was militant about not having us park, and you're having to carry a couch, you know what I mean? You don't want to park 3 blocks away where it's legal, you can't park here, and it was always and we used to call it the People's Republic of Davis.
Well, you had it named right.
Yeah.
You had it named right. No, the university, we don't need to get into all the lines.
Right.
But the university sort of ran the place, and they were the biggest source of income, and so forth and such. So it was, they never sort of got with the idea of growth, supporting the little retail businesses and all that. Anyway, it was good for me when I was there, because I was junior high school. What did I know? Small, run around with your buddies and do all the things. And high school, played sports. And
Were you born there, or did you?
No.
Where were you born?
I was born in the spinach capital of the United States. You know where that is?
I do not know.
Alma, Arkansas.
Really?
Yeah.
That's where you were born, huh?
I was 1 month old, I was told, and my parents, in 1941, and they came out to California. I've never been back, but that's where I was born. That's what it says on my.
What
birth
brought
certificate.
them out to California?
Well, a lack of
Work or
lack
whatever.
of work because it was terrible times.
Yeah.
You know, so
It was right after the Depression.
a lot of people came out, west for that purpose. So.
And then you were in Davis, so
And then from there, when I graduated from high school, I really wasn't ready to.
yeah,
Really wasn't ready to go to
yeah, rough
college.
day at the river.
Oh, tough. Huh? So I went and I joined the Navy for 4 years. So it was a good thing I did. I really.
Were you a hellion before you went in?
Well, I grew up in the 50s, so I majored in, learning how to drink beer, which didn't take a lot of training.
That wasn't.
It was fairly easy to do. I had, worked and bought a car and did all the things that all of us did.
Did you build cars? Did you build hot rods?
Well, yeah, I had a couple, and then you just do what normal, healthy young people do.
A race around?
Yeah, just do all the stuff.
Yeah, but back in what year were you in Davis during that time? When you were
50s, in the 50s.
So that's when the hot rod era.
Oh yeah, big
was
time.
Big.
Big time. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was fun.
It's
Yeah.
great what the cars have.
Well, we're changing tunes here, but
Yeah.
General Motors and Ford and Chrysler, they learned a lot from guys like us that grew up in LA and us and Modesto and here and all up and down the valley, because they're the ones that were creative to do different things to these cars. Hot rods and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So then-
they still do that today.
They still do that, but the engineers got a hold of it
Yeah.
and kind of, beautified it. And
Well, they got tinted windows. I bought my truck, and we swear by WeatherTech.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I got it in my van at home.
Yeah, when I've got a Laramie truck, and when we bought it, we looked at it, and they've Dodge, who's Solara or somebody now,
Yeah.
they've designed a WeatherTech style flooring in there, so you don't have to buy it afterwards. It's already
good. It's part of the.
it's
program
already
now.
installed in it. So
Yeah.
that's perfect example of that. People, they say, well, we want to get on board with that, So they, the tinted windows, the scoops on the front, the scoop on the front of the car, Even my truck's got I think it's a faux scoop, but it's
It probably cools up the engine.
yeah, probably, but it was it's for looks,
Oh, sure.
but it looks good.
I know.
And well, I was into motorcycles when I was growing up. I was in the 70s.
Well, I took a motorcycle to Australia.
Did you really?
I did.
You rode through Australia on a bike?
No, I'll tell you why. It was my lack of admission or research, because halfway through college I took a year off, got on an English cruise ship, and I went down to Sydney, and that's where I met my wife. The very first day I landed in Sydney, I met her. And anyway, I took the motorcycle, and I don't think I put 100 miles on it, because first of all, they drive on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
That's what I told them, but they didn't buy it, because I was the one on the wrong side of the road. And you know what happens? You're smart enough to stay on your side when nothing's happening.
Right.
You're just going down there. But anytime a little stress got into the picture, you would revert back to your old way of driving.
Going the wrong one
and
side.
all of a sudden, a truck's coming right at you, and you're going, that guy must be drunk. No, it's you, dummy.
Yeah, you're on the
Get out
wrong
of my
side.
lane. So I parked it. I figured, you know what? I couldn't do that.
Well, another thing is the animals down there. I mean, you can be going, you get tear house around there at hundreds of miles an hour, because there might be some random animal like.
Yeah. Well, especially because there's the people live around the edges of Australia,
Yeah.
by and large. The outback is the outback, and you can drive for 100 miles. But what happens, 2-lane roads, and they have these big trucks, they call them truck trains, and they're like 3, like our semis.
Right.
Well, these are twice that long, because they have to haul so much stuff to so many places
Right.
in the outback. And these kangaroos and stuff cross the road at night, and
Yep.
you see a lot of dead cattle and kangaroos, and so.
A friend of mine was just even in here, and I think it was Wyoming or somewhere. He was driving in the middle of the night, and he cruising pretty fast, and a moose walked out onto the road went right through the windshield. Ended up paralyzing him.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, a moose,
Would have
what do
been
they weigh? 2,000 pounds?
Yeah,
Something?
whatever. I mean, I'd lost touch with him, and I looked on Facebook and it's like, is he in a wheelchair? So I had to contact him. So he told me the story.
Oh, dear.
Really great guy.
Yeah.
But you know, they adapt themselves to.
Oh, sure.
You know,
Yeah.
but it sucks.
Yeah.
You know, but I can't imagine doing that in Australia with all the weird things that are down there. You know,
Well, it's not like they're running just
willy-nilly everywhere.
No, it's you almost have to see it to appreciate it. You know, it's majestic. It's exotic. It's and it kind of makes you humble in the outback. You get up in the morning, and you're staying in this little place like Coopapedy or Tennant Creek and these little places out in the outback, and you stand outside and you look around 360 degrees. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's no buildings. It's just the horizon, the sky, and the earth, and you.
Yeah,
So
it will humble you.
it does. It does a bit.
Now, is there a highway that goes around the entire perimeter of Australia?
Oh, sure. The big cities have they got great public transportation. Sydney, you don't even need a car. You don't
Yeah.
even need a car. They got trains, they got underground, they got this, they got bus systems, and the ferries from Sydney Harbor. You've probably seen it if you ever Google it. They have all these ferries that go out to all the different little towns around Sydney Harbor. It's about 7 or 8 miles long. And the place I stayed was Manly, Manly, and it's just on the North Shore. And they used to have a saying there that Manly was 7 miles from Sydney and 1,000 miles from Care.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful. The ocean beach was here. You walk through the Corso, and the harbor beach was there. It's just magnificent.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
You ever consider living there?
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
I mean, that's where your wife's from, right?
Yeah, she was from.
Is her
yeah.
family still down there?
Yeah, I talked to him on that Microsoft Teams, that
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talk to him all the time. Her sister, yeah, and I got 2 nieces and a nephew, and like that. So yeah,
You go down there regularly?
I went down 2 years ago after my wife passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
Alzheimer's.
that. I didn't know.
Yeah. In fact, on the back of that book, it's a complete, called it a blurb on the back here, and I don't. Should I read that or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Should I read that?
Of
What
course.
it's about? What
Yeah.
the book's about?
Absolutely.
Because I think at the end it kind of sums up what really motivated me to do this.
By all
So you
means.
can
Let's
bear
hear it.
with me. Crusaders Down. Crusaders Down Under. American Dr. Michael O'Flynn, DVM, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, was living a quiet, normal life as a wildlife veterinarian in the outback of Australia. But when a terrorist carries out a fatal plane bombing, Michael is suddenly recruited to take him out, with the instruction that it had to look like an accident. So he enlists the most ferocious army he can think of, the exotic animals of Australia, using camels, deadly spiders, snakes, and even a kangaroo. Michael and his team of quirky cohorts go on several missions to take out terrorists, human traffickers, and other villains who otherwise would escape justice. Crusaders Down Under will take you on a fun, exciting journey through some of the most iconic, beautiful parts of Australia, as well as introduce you to some fascinating critters, and it will remind you to never mess with Mother Nature. Myself, Roy Brewer, is a retired lobbyist living in Sacramento, California. He wrote this book in memory of Wink, his favorite Aussie, and wife of 54 years, and also to highlight some of the wonders of Australia, a country he loves. All proceeds of this book will be donated to Alzheimer's research.
Very good. Did your wife suffer from Alzheimer's?
Yeah, she did. In fact, I wrote another book 2 years ago, and we're adding pages to it because in 2 years a lot of research has been done, so I want to make it current. And it's called Who Are You? And it's on Amazon as well as Crusaders Down Under. But a lot of people have got that a little solace because it talks about the 4 years that I was the caregiver. So it's that side of the equation. Because the truth is, Doug, to date, there's very little, if anything, they can do for Alzheimer's. So my goal is to get enough funding to hopefully get people in the public to do what they did with St. Jude, you know, how they help cancer with kids and all that.
Right.
Well, they've never done that with Alzheimer's. And get the funding so that researchers who actually do the work on the bench, finding out treatment and hopefully cures or causes, and go to the public. Because once the public gets involved and they donate their money, just like they do with St. Jude or when we had AIDS or breast cancer for women and all that, every time they've gone to the public for funding. But that's my goal, is to get resources, to have the researchers through the public awareness, because there is hope. There definitely is hope with this disease, but it's going to take all of us to get the funding, to get it on TV and get the people behind it. Because what I found out from this disease, everybody knows somebody pretty close to them that's had it. And number one, no one is immune to this disease. No one. Not one of us on this globe. So if you get diagnosed with it, that's it. That's it, brother.
My stepmom had it. It was
Well, see, Doug, you know what I'm talking
yeah, I
about.
know it. I didn't have, it was my stepmom, my brother, her natural son, and his wife. They didn't. I mean, it was horrific because we didn't know she had it. We lived up here. She was down there. Her friend would call us, and she was doing some strange things. She ended up. They found her down on one of the large boulevards down there, sitting, and looked like somebody gave her a pizza. She's sitting in the hallway of this pizza parlor, just eating pizza, you know, and having a place to care for her because we weren't able to do it. That's the places that they have to put them, you know, are unspeakable. I got a handyman called, and I'll give him a plug. It's called Fix It Right, Steve Spinoza. He's replaced all kind of, this house was built in '59, so repairs aren't really very easy to do on things because they were built differently back then. They're not plug and play. But anyway, so his wife has gotten it. He's gone stems. He's tried stems. He's tried some experimental stuff. Stem cell. Mm-hmm. She actually, he was here yesterday with her. She actually, I don't see her all the time, so I see her. Months could go by and I'll see her, and he has to take her. He takes her with him. He's got an assistant. This is his son-in-law, I think. And they got a Mercedes Sprinter van, and they put in another seat. You could actually get a factory third seat in the back. And they bring her here, and then she'll come in the house and we'll visit with her. She, at the point where she'll talk about something, and then she can't find the word. You know, it isn't. But the first time she was here, that he brought her in and we were talking to her, she kept repeating over and over. She wasn't doing that last time. So I don't know if they're making, you know, and I meant to talk to him, and I'll probably call him today or tomorrow and tell him, I can see progress. Maybe not progress, but I don't see it becoming worse. You know, I mean, I don't know how it works.
Yeah. Well, usually it's kind of like this. And say, here's the end point. And it goes like this. And then the closer you get, the quicker it drops.
Yeah. It's horrific. I don't,
It's worse than that. You know, a lot of people that I talk to about it, and I talked to a lot of people being a lobbyist, that was my trade
Right.
stock, is that they tell me something that taught me something. I talk to them about it and they'll say, I want to know, but I don't.
Right.
Is that
It's
hard?
something that scares us all.
Oh,
you know,
look,
my
I mean,
wife and I are.
that's why it's such a hard nut to crack.
What can
because-
you do? It's like you can't. They haven't figured out what. You try to live a clean life. You try to not be maybe not drink. They say you shouldn't drink too much because that causes it.
Mhm.
You know, and I don't think they really know. You know,
It's hunt and peck.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. But that's my passion in life. That's why I'm doing all this.
So that's your wife, though, right?
Yep,
That's a
that's
picture of
her.
her. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
How long were you married?
54.
54 years.
Yeah,
My longest was 30 before I got kicked out. You're doing pretty good.
that's very good.
Did you had kids?
No, by choice, we didn't want to.
You didn't want to?
We wanted to be children. You know,
Yeah.
it was just her and I. And she worked for United Airlines, and we went everywhere.
Yeah, you fly for free, right?
Just, well, we had to go standby, and you had, the burden was you had to pay taxes. Big deal, right? I
Yeah,
have to
who
laugh
cares?
about it.
It's like when you win a car. Oh, you're gonna have to pay the taxes.
Oh dear.
Well, I'll pay the taxes.
Yeah, I'll pay the taxes. Yeah,
Yeah.
funny. We went through some funny things. I could go on vacation to Australia and have a great time, spend all of our money that we took to spend, and wind up at midnight stranded in Honolulu because of a weight thing. Because when you go standby, you're the first one to get kicked off. So we got kicked off a lot.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, who cares?
You knew it was
You
gonna
know,
happen.
Look, so the next day you get on one and you're home.
Yeah.
You just got to build it into your. What are you going to do? Sit at home because you might get kicked off?
No.
No.
That's a great opportunity.
Well, it was great. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, we're kind of homebodies. We don't really do much traveling.
Well, that's okay. It's hard work, Doug.
Yeah.
You know, traveling is hard work.
Yeah. I'm kind of lazy. I don't really.
Well, no,
Yeah.
you're thoughtful. You think about it before you. You know.
I got 2 German Shepherds.
Hey.
By the way, we met at the river. We met at the river, so that was kind of we got to talking about
yeah, a
this.
lot in common right there.
You know,
Right.
and so it was really kind of nice. But so you just live by yourself,
Yeah.
or do you?
Yeah. For the last couple of years, yeah.
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 Never wanted to. No, that was it.
I had the best.
So nothing more you can do. Huh?
Well, no, it's just, yeah.
So what's your routine? You know, you're retired. I mean, what do you?
Everything. Well, I write this. I play the piano. I work out every morning, do Tai Chi and work out for about an hour and a half. And then I go around Ansel Hoffman Park every day.
Oh, do you go
Meet
every
some
day? Yeah, we see you guys
All the
a
time.
lot down there.
And
Do you do the loop all the way around?
Yeah, up in the West End, up there, Equestrian
Yeah,
Park,
we do all that too,
All
yeah.
the whole thing. And you meet some very interesting people there. All walks of life, all kinds of things
Yeah.
go on, you know. And then I go home and just do routine things and practice my piano, do a little writing, and talk to my friends, and then the day's over.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
amazing
and
how.
Then I wash my vet.
Watch the vet. Got to keep the vet
Well,
clean.
you know, boys need toys.
Yeah, I know. Like my wife said, that's the one thing. She's let me have anything I want. The problem is, she said, if you want a vet, go ahead and go test drive one.
Yeah.
So I went, and yours is a newer one, and it probably
Well, it's
doesn't
not,
do.
you know what? Guess what?
What year is that?
15.
Oh, really? It looks good. It looks
It
mellow.
was like my baby, and I even.
Does it lift up though? Does it for you?
I
to get up?
didn't want that.
Yes.
Because the more crap you put on it,
The more it goes wrong.
well, you know that. you
Yeah.
know, and this is my 4th one, but I have to be honest with you. That's the best one I've ever had.
Oh,
It's,
what other years did you
I
have?
had a 57.
Oh,
Then
wow.
I had a 63 split window coupe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Then I had an 89, and then this one by far is the best one. It's quiet, it's quick, it looks good, and it performs well. What else do you want?
It's amazing.
They put it all together this time, and I bought it from Michigan, and I tried to do business in California, and they wanted MSRP, manufacturer,
Right.
plus.
Yeah, they stack on.
I don't like that word plus.
Did you buy it new?
Oh yeah, and I ordered it from Dearborn Chevrolet in Michigan, and it's the second largest vet dealer in the United States. And I got to know the guy over the phone real well, and I ordered it from him. He shipped the order to Bowling Green, Kentucky, and that's where they build them. And then they shipped it out here, and I had it courtesy delivered to Rio Vista. There's a vet dealer down there. He works on vets. And,
Really?
yeah, and all of his crew have been trained to work on vets. Yes, people come from Oregon to bring their vets
Really?
down there. So I picked it up there and drove it home, and I saved about 13 grand.
Oh, wow.
Why not?
That's amazing. That's a nice car.
Yeah, they're nice. I even covered up in the garage because all the dust.
Do you have a garage at your place? You have a garage?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you have a regular house? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you learned to play the piano. How long have you been doing that?
4 years.
Are you pretty good?
I am. That sounds like I'm bragging. I'm only
Got
I'm
a
only-
Corvette and I play the piano.
Well, yeah, but I'm like you. I started out with zero,
Yeah.
and you busted your backside,
Yeah.
and now you're enjoying it. But that's the way America is supposed to be, right?
Well, there's a lot of people
Opportunities.
that just spend it all. They don't plan for the future.
Well, that's their
I,
problem.
I got 3 boys and nobody's planning for the future. So I keep telling you, if you want to be able to relax in later years,
Work
you better
hard.
put something away and work
Yeah.
hard,
Isn't that the truth?
Don't
Yeah.
cruise by.
Yeah.
But all 3 of them they work pretty hard, but they spend pretty hard. So
Well, it's their choice.
they got time. Maybe they got time.
Well, everybody has those little spurts, and then they come
Yeah.
back to reality. Yeah. Yeah.
So do you have a dog? Do you just walk with your...
No,
The piano teacher?
Yeah, she's got 2. Her and her husband live just off.
They live over here somewhere.
Yeah, they live on Chiquita. You ever hear of that street?
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah, I think it might be off Landis. I'm not sure.
No, it's you go up. What's that name? Right out of the. You go by FER and you come out that way.
Right.
Up that's what's the name of that?
Yeah, I don't know. I know who you're
Up
talking
the
about.
top, dead end, and then that's Chiquita.
Oh, is it right there? So
Yeah.
does she walk from her house?
She walks from her house down, and we meet, and then like that, and
Yeah.
like that. I like her husband. He's a nice fella. Nice fella.
Are they both retired?
She actually does some real estate management in Flagstaff, Arizona.
No,
She
really?
does it by computer. She manages it, all the necessaries to have real estate property.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty
In
good
fact,
gig.
I got a piano lesson this afternoon,
Oh, yeah.
every Tuesday. But it's like everything else in life, Doug. If you put the sweat in,
Yeah.
you'll be amazed what you can do. Just don't stop doing it. Just
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, my wife told me, she was a high school teacher, and I said, what do you tell those kids? I mean, how do you? Because the English system, they don't take any rubbish from the kids. They're in charge. And she would say the first day of school, the very first day, her class was in there, and she would say, look, here's how it's going to be. She said, what you're going to do is the hardest thing you've ever going to do in your life is learn. She said, it's hard work. It's tremendously hard.
Yeah.
You'll never give up. I'll help you. So if you have that attitude, that it's not supposed to be easy, and it isn't.
No.
So if kids get that in their head, then they're not going to quit, and, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what she told them. Probably a good thing, huh?
That's an amazing woman. Be able to inspire. So the system down there is not like here. The kids.
Well, I can't speak for today because
Everything
bad
changes.
things kind of
Yeah.
flush over on other beaches. But the English system, you had to. It was all pretty much merit based. You either
Yeah.
could do it or you couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless of course your dad owned a store, and then you probably got a job.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I wasn't fortunate enough to do that. I had to work my way up this. I didn't go to college either, and I know, it's.
You know what? I got to be honest with you. Yeah, I did that, but I didn't start getting smart or smarter or whatever the word is
Yeah.
until after I got out of college.
Yeah, street smart. Yeah,
Well, I mean,
it's been a lot of that.
really?
Well, the military helped me. I went in.
Well, me too. What were you in the Air Force?
I was in the Army.
Were you?
79. Yeah, I went in.
You didn't go to Nam.
No, I was right afterward. I was right. In fact, I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky, was my basic training, and we have 3 drill sergeants because we had big barracks. It was typical like that though, but they were all 3 Vietnam veterans, and they were very
tough guys,
very hardcore. They treated you like you're gonna go, so it was hard, And I was homesick, and I never left.
Kids.
It's like I was 19.
Oh Jesus!
And it's like it was. I was always whining to my dad about how it sucked, and he was top turret gunner in a B-17 in World War II.
He was kind enough to listen to you, but what he was thinking was,
he's like, suck it up,
buddy.
Yeah, suck it up.
But you did. You
I made it
did.
through. Yeah, it was fine.
That's the key. But you didn't feel any different from any of those other kids that were in there. Every one of them felt that way. But it was a great place to grow up. If you have the potential to grow up, the military will jerk you up.
Yeah, it was the best. I asked if you were a hellion. I was a handful before I went in. I street race motorcycles, and
But you're only being a kid. That's testosterone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really.
Yeah. So it wasn't horrible. My dad was nothing to screw with. He was 6'2", crew cut. He was a master sergeant in the Air Force. So he was not to be screwed with.
And you knew that. You knew the rules.
Yet I would challenge, and I'd get my hair blown back.
And then he'd unchallenge.
Yeah, I'd get my hair blown back pretty good. So I deserved everything I got. When they say kids now, I'm calling CPS on my parents. I'm like, you need to just take it.
Hey,
just take it. You're better for it. But kids, that would say kids these days. It's like, well. It's just a different breed. Like in management, I was in management for, 40 years.
That's hard work.
I was a staff sergeant when I got out of the Army. I was actually based in Benicia, at the National Guard when I got out.
Gee.
So,
Doug, did you know that Benicia used to be the capital of California?
I did, and I've got a friend who was in. My childhood friend he's in special operations and things, and he's a big fan of Mare Island, which is Vallejo.
Oh, sure.
Vallejo has, I don't know if you realize how much history. If you ever get a chance to go down there, have you been?
Oh, God, yeah, that's
to Mare Island.
They have a great golf course on Mare Island.
Did they redo it? Is it? He didn't think they did. He said it's grown over right now.
Well, it could be now. I was talking 25 years.
Yeah, he says it's grown over now.
It was because of those horses. That's why they named it the Little Mare.
Right.
Yeah, that was the Marine.
They built
submarine base.
Yeah,
it was in World War II.
I love that stuff, and I actually in this National Guard in the 70s. I taught a first aid class at Mare Island there.
I'll be damned.
And I remember about the post it being so beautiful, so I got on the water, and I thought this is the most beautiful post I've ever been at. But I've been to Fort Knox is beautiful, the history.
Yeah.
I was at Fort Lee, Virginia. So there's just a lot of
history.
A lot of the military thing, and and like we talked about with your book related, Pine Gap, that secret facility.
Yeah.
By one of the areas that you're featured in the book.
Alice Springs, yeah.
I'm always curious. When we were growing up in the Bay Area, there was a Nike missile base there. Have you've heard of those?
Oh, sure.
In the hills where I told you I grew up. We went up there one day. It's got a cyclone fence. Of course, somebody had torn it open, and there's a hatch. So we take the hatch and we open it up. And the hatch it's just like a door, but it's on the ground. It opens, and it had a lock on it. We're looking around making sure there's no locks there, but we went down in there.
Yeah.
And we took our flashlights and we went down in there, and It was spooky. We go downstairs, just way down deep. And the offices still had furniture in them. They still had, they weren't completely, they took all the Nike missile stuff out,
Oh my God.
obvious. But we got to the bottom, and it was pretty far down. It was so dark that when you shine your flashlight up, the flashlight's like we have today, but shine your flashlight, it absorbed the light. It was just that far down. It was really spooky. And I was really scared somebody was going to lock us in, because all they could do is they could put a stick in that thing, and
you're done.
we wouldn't be able to get out. We'd be done. We probably should have put a lookout there, but everything was patrolled by the East Bay Regional Park District Rangers. So you want to get stuck in there, you get arrested. But it was really a great adventure,
See, those kind of things made for a great short story.
Yeah, it's
No,
a great. Yeah, there's
You
growing up. I had a lot of stories. A lot of stories growing up.
Are we on, off, in between?
What's that?
Are we still?
Yeah, we're still recording. You need to answer that?
No.
Okay.
I think somebody.
Yeah, I'm hunting, and my dad was big into hunting and fishing. Did you ever do any hunting and
God, I
fishing?
grew up doing that. My dad. Oh, geez, all the time.
That was the
hunting,
thing back
fishing.
when we.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you get food.
Well, when hunting, deer hunting, and pheasants and all that, ducks and fishing. And, I grew up in Knight's Landing. My dad. Farming.
I hunted Rio Vista. Yep.
Well, you know where Knight's Landing is?
Absolutely.
Woodland, over there,
Yeah.
on the river. And I used to spend our days like Huckleberry Finn
Yeah.
down there.
I actually hunted dove down in, the causeway here.
Oh, yeah.
You could go around to the Davis side and come
Yeah,
down in there. And there's a pheasant club that's back in there.
Yeah.
And the pheasants dove hunt, but in pheasant season, the pheasant that they would miss sometimes and they had to pay.
Yeah.
But the pheasant would come over into the area that was public. And you could shoot the pheasant over there.
The pheasant
So-
didn't know.
Yeah, Road 102 on Woodland also was another place for that. But I don't really hunt anymore. I like trap shooting. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I have a little bit. I belong to that Sacramento gun club. Out going toward Rancho Murrieta. Then you go past and hit that road out there. It's out in the hills.
Is it Ione?
Yeah, going toward Ione.
I haven't been down there. I got to go
It's
down there.
beautiful out there. You can shoot. They got ranges shooting a mile if you want to get into that, and skeet, and trap, and pistol. And
I gotta look in. I know they only do it on certain days, so I have to go down there.
Yeah,
We should go down and do some trap shooting.
I like to shoot. I got a 9mm Smith and Wesson.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and a right. I like to shoot.
yeah. You got to get to practice in.
Yeah, it's good.
To stay sharp.
A guy taught me. I'm pretty
I'm terrible at pistol.
Well, yeah, but let me tell you what you did. I'm guessing. Here's the bullseye, right?
Yeah,
You're right-handed.
yeah,
You aim right at the bullseye, and you're hitting down here,
yeah.
right?
Shooting low. Yeah,
Right, low and left,
yeah.
right? Well, he said, it's not your eyes, it's not your brain, it's your finger. I said, what do you mean? He says, that tendon right there, a tendon is the one that goes from muscle to bone. He said, when you pull that trigger back, you hold his thumb back and go like that, and you'll stretch that tendon out so you can pull that trigger straight back. Pull the finger straight back, because what you're doing is you're going like that, and it's throwing the barrel off just that much.
Oh really?
Yeah, and he taught me that, and all of a sudden, I was like, Roy Rogers, for God's sake.
You have a semi-automatic, or do you? I'm not a revolver fan.
A 9mm.
Yeah, I've got a 40 cal. Yeah, I got Smith and Wesson.
Yeah, I like Smith and Wesson.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it used. It's a good gun. It's a good gun.
You know that I like Clint Eastwood movies.
Oh, I love. Yeah, I've got the collection.
He walked in the back and he said, "Well, we aren't going to let you move out." Remember that? Who's we? It's me and Smith and Wesson.
All right, sir. We're running up on an hour. Getting pretty close. It's really good to have you here.
Hey.
Call you by the right name, Roy Brewer. Thank you very much. We've learned a lot. Everybody read the book. We're on YouTube, Rumble, Patreon, 63 podcast platforms. Like and subscribe. And, really thanks for everybody for tuning in. And Roy, it was great having you on.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll
Thank
wrap
you.
it up.